Brandon Williams has accepted Hull City's contract offer, so he could be joined alongside another new transfer as Hull City head to Wrexham on Tuesday to face off in the Carabao Cup. Hello then, welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel. Over today, we're going through the latest news on some of the new additions into the squad. I'll give you a bit of an update on our loan watch, what have our loan players been doing this past weekend, and cracking through all the other news surrounding Hull City. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with an update on Brandon Williams. Now, we talked about this a little bit over the past week. So Brandon Williams, we know he was at Hull City on a trial period following, of course, the whole deal that he's had with his sort of life and footballing career. Of course, young prospects at Manchester United doing quite well there. Went out over to Ipswich, played a little bit for them in the Championship, and then, of course, had his whole legal fiasco with some illegal substances and all sort of stuff like that. Won't go too much into that. That's in the past now. He's trying to get back into the football world, trying to get his life back on track. Took a trial period up with Hull City. We saw him in 2 games, actually. One against Sunderland, and of course against Getafe in the final 2 pre-season friendlies for Hull City. On the trial period there. Following that, Hull City had sent him out a contract offer. Of course, it'd be nice to have him in the squad, not only for him to get his sort of footballing career back on track, but he also comes in as a brilliant addition into the squad. It was reported, though, that a few other teams were interested in him and were sort of surveying the scenes. Brandon Williams was doing the similar sort of thing, a few different Championship clubs, and I think a couple of clubs abroad. Well, it's official now. He has accepted Hull City's contract offer, and he did take a medical yesterday. So during the game, probably, or some point around yesterday, he did take a medical for Hull City. All things are expected to be good with that. Sergei Kirich did sort of talk about this on the Humberside Sport radio on after the game. So everything seems pretty much concrete around this, and we can expect a Brandon Williams announcement in the coming day or two. Certainly before Hull City make the trip down to Wrexham on Tuesday, as he most likely will be registered and ready to go in this one. Of course, having a bit of a pre-season with Hull City, seems familiar with the squad, familiar with Sergei, familiar with the team, so he can be all ready to go to face off in the Carabao Cup first round away at Wrexham. Well, he'll become another addition alongside Akintola. Now, I've talked about this a little bit, waiting on the announcement from Akintola. He did take his medical a little bit before Brandon Williams a couple of days ago now, and of course that one is a free transfer signing. We'd last heard it's in the region of a 2-year deal for Akintola to join the Tigers, a winger that would become a nice addition into this squad. Talking about former wingers for Hull City, well, Lincoln Henrique has had his contract terminated at Fenerbahce. Now, he was there doing his pre-season business, and he has now had his contract terminated. Of course, we do know Lincoln was on loan at the club last season, played in a little bit of cameo roles, didn't get a full concrete rundown of things going at the MKM Stadium, and didn't really solidify himself down as a mainstay at Hull City, which was one of the reasons why he didn't get that move to Hull City that he kind of wanted following his closure at Hull City last season. So a bit of an update there on a former Tiger. Of course, that means he is out on the free transfer market, so Hull City can pick him up, but I don't think they would necessarily go back there, and I don't think they necessarily need another winger. Of course, you've got to look ahead. Mohamed Baloumi and Liam Miller, well, they're both back after the September international break. So things are looking up for Hull City, and look, things are going to look even more up if this one does come through to fruition, and Hull City are reportedly set to offer Ivor Pandur a new contract. We can all celebrate as Ivor Pandur, hopefully, if he signs this one and everything is all good with it. I'm not sure if it has to get passed through the EFL, of course, with the current embargo fee restriction situation going on. But Pandur, if he pens a new contract, that comes as a welcome addition. Of course, Pandur being the #1 keeper for Hull City since really sort of getting the job, nailing it down at the start of last season. I mean, we've seen him already in 1 game this season, clean sheet, fantastic performance, and to nail him down, to solidify him down as the #1 keeper for Hull City, not only for this season, but for a couple more seasons to come, well, that is a welcome sight to every Hull City fan. So, of course, I'll keep up to date on how things roll with this one, of course, how the contract is laid out out and everything surrounding that, but certainly a big boost to the minds of every Hull City fan, with, of course, the lingering doubts of if Pandur was able to leave this summer with some interest surrounding him. But he was firm on staying, the club were firm on him staying, and this just solidifies that even more. The club really wants him, and hopefully if Pandur signs a new deal, it sort of solidifies that down that he wants to stay at the Quayside in Yorkshire. So we'll go into our loan watch. So I've gone through all of the Hull City loan players that are currently out on loan at different squads, gone through their games from this weekend and picked out some worthy notes here. So Timothy Loala, one of the keepers who is out on loan at Doncaster Rovers. Well, this is sort of his second term at Doncaster Rovers on loan. Well, he's had 2 games, of course, because the League One season started last season. Well, he registered a clean sheet against Exeter. I think that was this weekend, and then a strong performance in a 2-1 win versus Mansfield. So he's looking very good out on loan once again for Grant McCann's Doncaster Rovers, as he's sort of been in the net, seen through the full 90 in 2 games, 2 wins, as Doncaster Rovers are unbeaten, unwinnable. No, they're not. They are winnable. They're 100% win record in League One. So hopefully everything still keeps on cracking going for Timothy Loala, who is hopefully going to keep on rolling there. Harvey Cartright, now another one of our youth keepers who's out on loan. He's out in the National League with Hartlepool United, and he got himself a clean sheet as well, this time in a 0-0 draw against Yeovil Town. This is his 4th loan move as the 23-year-old is now looking for a bit of continuous success. Really struggled out on loan, Harvey Cartwright has done, so hopefully finding a bit more consistent football at the National League level with Hartlepool United. Hopefully this will help him sort of solidify things down and keep things rolling for his development. Matty Jacob, now of course he was around Hull City squad last season. He's gone out on loan to Reading this season over in League One, and unfortunate he hasn't had the best of starts there. He played the full 90 in his first full debut this weekend as Reading lost 2-0 to Huddersfield Town, and of course he picked up a yellow card in that game as well. He also featured off the bench as Reading lost on opening day to Lincoln, so not the best of starts for Matty Jacob at Reading, and of course not the best of starts for Reading as well, so hopefully he picks up his form. We know that he can produce quite nicely. He did have some good stints at certain points last season for Hull City, and the bits of cameo that he had the season beforehand, so hopefully his performances uptick along with Reading's. Roco Coyle, of course, younger brother of Louis Coyle, one of the academy lads. Well, he's out on loan at Boston United, and yesterday they sealed a 2-1 win over Middlesbrough's academy in the National League Cup. Roco Coyle played 57 minutes, of course, started the game, was awarded a yellow card late in the first half, but was there for the win. Funny note on the opposite side of that team, so on Middlesbrough's academy side, well, it's Owen Foster, of course, one of the younger academy lads from Hull City. He left Hull City's academy, went and joined Middlesbrough's academy this summer, and was there facing off against current City academy lad Roco Coyle, so a bit of a worthy note there. We'll save the big one and we'll go into Abdushamer. So Abdushamer started and played 64 minutes for Antalyaspor in their season opening 2-1 win against Kasim Pasa. I'm definitely going to butcher that one, aren't I? Omer played in the number 10 role, had 100% passing accuracy, which was the best mark on the field. So nice to see him back in that sort of role that he is comfortable in, the role that he likes to play. Certainly wasn't a dominant performance for him. 100% passing accuracy was good, but other than that, didn't do too much on the field and was a little bit lost in essence. But a good performance, a good stretch for him back out in Turkish football. Now, the big one from the weekend, well, it's Mason Burstow. He seems to be solidifying himself down very nicely over at Bolton Wanderers. Well, he's out on loan there for the season in League One for Bolton Wanderers, and he's grabbed his first goal already in a 2-0 win over Plymouth Argyle this weekend. The 22-year-old also played 74 minutes in that game, 62 minutes the weekend before in the opener of the League One season for Bolton Wanderers. So it seems like Mason Burstow is having a good start to his time over at Bolton Wanderers. I know on my post over on X, X about this. A lot of Bolton fans were saying, you don't want him back, you don't want him back, can we keep him, can we keep him? So it seems like he's solidifying himself down quite nicely there. Of course, he's on one of the longer contracts at Hull City, out on loan to try and get him some more experience in senior football, and out in League One, well, it seems to be like he's doing quite nicely there, so certainly one to keep an eye on for the future. Of course, I'll keep you up to date on all of that surrounding Mason Berisha and all of the other loans, along with all of the other news around Hull City as we progress to face off against Wrexham in the Carabao Cup. Well, it's funny enough, we'll face off against Disney United in the Mickey Mouse Cup on Tuesday away. So stay tuned on the channels. I'll have you up to date on everything Hull City. Of course, prediction preview video out tomorrow, and then a live watch along and reaction out on Tuesday. So stay tuned on the channel. Keep up to date with everything Hull City. Of course, I'll keep you up to date on all of the transfer news as well. So stay tuned on the channel by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Up the Tigers!